just caught the baby in the car. Holy crap.
Well, hello.
Hey guys. We're here at our house with our little baby, and she's settled down for a minute, so we're going to go ahead and talk to y'all about how she made her entrance into this world.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot of the later stuff, so he'll have to fill you in on some of that.
But you can tell them about the contractions you're having, kind of succinctly, because we got to get to the punchline.
Yeah. So I started having contractions about 2 o'clock in the morning, the day before she was born, so Saturday. They weren't that bad, weren't very consistent. About 4:30, they started getting really consistent, like 8 minutes apart, but they still weren't very bad or very intense. So all day Saturday, they continued to be 8 minutes apart, and I was able to like go to the store and pick up a few things, like still function. Then, ooh,
good burp.
And then about 8 o'clock on Saturday night, they started getting 6 minutes apart and a lot more intense. I couldn't just like talk or anything through them. I had to really focus on my breathing. But they wanted them to be 4 minutes apart, lasting at least a minute for an hour before I went into the birthing center. And so we kept watching the clock. They continued to be 6 minutes apart, but they were really intense and they were lasting a minute and a half apiece. And so we called the midwife, and she was like, "Well, have your doula come."
Oh, we'd gone to bed and we were trying to rest in between contractions.
Which
I was
wasn't
trying
really
to I was trying to
happening.
help her, just be encouraging and talk to her and whatnot while she was having them, and we were trying to rest in between. It wasn't really working out, and so then we called the midwife, and she was like, "Well, you need to get your," and it was a foreign concept to me that our doula needed to come to our house. I just assumed that they would meet us at the birthing center.
That my doula was my mom,
and she was awesome.
Yeah.
And so we called her. We said, okay. We called her. She came. She said, "Yeah, I'm on my way." At this point, we're like out of the room. We're in the hallway because she is like doubled over every time. With the contractions, they're hurting a lot. And I'm realizing this is probably going to happen tonight, And so I'm like trying to get stuff together and get, dressed and get the bags ready and in between help her with her contractions. And then also the midwife told us to get her some food and lots of water. So I'm trying to like encourage her to get a little piece of bread and some water.
Yeah. And but right after we got off the phone with my mom, who headed this way, they stopped being 6 minutes apart all of a sudden, and they were pretty much one on top of the other, and so it was just pretty much constant.
Yeah, and we moved from the hallway to the kind of the common room or the man cave area because there's not a lot of room in the hallway, but it's carpet, so it's okay to like be on your knees or whatever if you got to. And so we moved into there where we had more room, and since they were pretty much one on top of the other, I wasn't really able to move a whole lot of stuff yet. Like get the car like all the way ready, and so I'm like running back and forth, and she's like, "I'm about to puke," and so I grabbed a trash can and I gave it to her, and she starts throwing up, and I'm like, "It's okay, honey, you're okay, it's okay." And then like I run into another room. It was just like crazy until her mom got here. And the scene, like right before her mom got here, I'm like running across the house to get another trash can for her to throw up in because I don't want her to be smelling that while she's trying not to vomit. And so I'm running across to grab another one. And as I'm getting in there, she's like, "No, wait!" And I'm like, "I'll be right back," because she thought I'd taken the trash can with me.
I couldn't find it. I was trying to puke, and I couldn't find it.
And so she found it, and I was like, "Oh, I'll be right back." And I grabbed the trash can, and as I'm coming back into the living room, I hear the knock, knock, knock at the door, which I'd unlocked already. And I was like, "It's open!" Because I knew it was her mom, and I'm trucking back in there. She comes in, and she's like, and she looks at her, and she's like, "Yeah, I think it's time." And so she starts watching her and helping her while I'm getting everything else in the car and get my shoes on. We get in the car. Yeah.
Right after my mom got here, I don't know how long she'd been here. It hadn't been long.
5-6 minutes.
My water broke. And, so then they didn't feel quite as intense after my water broke because there was like a relief of pressure. But, yeah, once that happened, it was like this is happening.
And so I called the midwife again. And I was like, her water broke. She was asking a bunch of questions. And I was answering them as best as I could. And she was like, okay, we'll start heading this way. And I'm like, great. So I throw the last few things together. And then we get her in the car. And I'm driving. My wife's in the passenger seat. And we already had the seat thing in the car, like, because we have a clicky thing for the chair, for the car seat.
The car seat.
So the base was in there. I just had to grab the seat and put it in there, the actual car seat and put it in there. And then so my mom, or her mom, was riding behind her. Yeah. And we hit the road, and we had to turn around and get a puke bucket because I'd totally forgotten one. And it cost us a few minutes, but like maybe 3 or 4 at the most. That. And we hit the road, and I was blazing a trail. I was going as fast as I could. I was running red lights. I had the hazards on. I was doing like 90 on the highway. But we live about 35 minutes away, 30, 40 minutes away from the midwife's birthing center.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was trucking. I was going as fast as I felt responsible, especially with an unbuckled pregnant woman writhing around in pain right next to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe we need to lay her seat back. And I'm trying to reach around her while I'm driving and lay it back, and it's just not happening. So she's basically sitting up, but she's moved around, you know, she's leaned back as much as she can. And every time a contraction hits, her mom's talking her through breathing, and I'm trying to be encouraging. And oh my goodness. Well, then, then she's like, I can feel her head. Okay. Yeah. And then we're like 15 minutes away at this point when she says she can feel her head. And I'm like, well, we're 15 minutes away. You think we can get there? And she's like, well, okay. And then her contractions stopped for a second. She's like, well, it went back in. I said, okay. I'm going as fast as I can. And then we're like 10 minutes away. And she's like, I can feel her head again. Well, I looked down, and I was feeling down for her head. And I felt it, but then I looked down, and her head is like out of her pelvis. And her mom's like, are you pushing? And she's like, I can't help it. Yeah, and so I said, all right, Connie, what do we do? And do I pull over or do we keep going? We are 9 minutes away. And she said, we need to pull over. It's happening now. Okay. And so she said, first safe place you can see. So I took the next exit. And as we're on the off ramp coming up, I'm pulling over to stop. My wife goes, oh my God, pushes, and out she comes.
Yeah.
In the passenger seat, sitting up in the passenger seat, and she caught her.
Yeah.
Both hands, just boom, caught her. It was a crazy moment.
It
was. For just a split second, time slowed down. I saw the baby come out because I looked over, and I'm trying to slow down because I was going fast. Trying to slow down and pull over and find somewhere that's okay, and we might get like 6 red light tickets later on. I don't care, but I just saw this baby. She's holding her, and it's like, oh my gosh, that just happened. You know, something you hear about in movies.
Yeah.
Well, it happened to us, and so then she's holding her up, and she had the umbilical cord wrapped around her neck like 3 times. She had a jump rope for an umbilical cord. She had a long umbilical cord. And so I'm like trying to slam the car and park and like reach over and unwrap the umbilical cord at the same time. Yeah. We finally get it together, and I get the car and park and stopped, and I was like, all right, Connie. And so she gets out and runs up front, and I'm like trying to, you know, and she was cyanotic, blue. She was blue all over the place. Sorry. And like not just in her fingers and hands, like she was blue.
Yeah.
Which I expected, you know. I work in the medical field. It's not a surprise to me that she was blue when she came out, or had the cord wrapped around her neck.
Of a surprise to me.
She was freaking out.
Just a little bit.
She was like, she's not breathing. Longest 7 seconds of my wife's life passed, and then she coughed, and she started breathing. And me and Connie both were like, as long as she's got the umbilical cord attached, she's still getting oxygen. It's okay, you know.
Yeah.
And then she coughed, and she starts breathing. We got her to pull up her shirt so that we could do skin to skin and keep this newborn warm in the car. And it's 2:13 in the morning, right after daylight savings day on November 4th.
Yep.
It's cold.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to keep the baby warm. She said, I need a blanket or something. And my wife's like, well, there's one in the whatever bag I'd thrown in there, and I couldn't find it. So I just grabbed a jacket that I keep in the back of my car and gave it to her. And so we get back in the car, we get back on the road, and she's holding her. She's just like, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm just like, holy crap, that happened. Just caught the baby in the car. Holy crap. Holy crap. Thank goodness mom's here. Oh, goodness. She's here.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
okay. She's here. It's
What
okay,
time
baby.
was it?
I don't know. Three.
That's wrong.
Like, I was pretty calm. But it was just like, I can't believe that happened, you know?
Yeah, I feel like I was pretty calm, like in the moment. Like afterwards is
Afterwards,
when I
she
was
was
like,
starting to freak out a little
"What
bit.
just happened?"
And so I call the midwife. We get back in the car. I call the midwife, and I'm like, "Hey, we had the baby in the car. We're on our way down there. You might want to meet us in the parking lot because you have to leave a message. They don't give you their numbers, which is fine." And so we hop back in the car and we just book it down there.
Yeah.
We pull up and the midwife met us in the parking lot, and I called my parents too, and I was like, "We delivered in the car. Head to the birthing center now." and oh, it's okay. And we got inside. There's a staircase. We went up the staircase. She's holding the baby, and we've got stuff everywhere. There was blood all over the car. And we got upstairs, and we finished the process, and that's how little Taya came into this world.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. Honestly, though, like by the time we were about halfway there, I knew we weren't gonna make it, and so I was able to like kind of mentally prepare that this was happening and that I would have to catch her, you know. So yeah.
The hero of the story here is my wife. She just, I mean, she delivered her own baby. It was impressive.
Yeah.
It was very impressive.
In fact, like on the way to the midwife's office after that, I was like, we didn't even really need them.
Yeah, what are midwives for? They did great. Birthing center was awesome.
Yeah.
We had a great experience. We got there, got everything else taken care of, got Taya taken care of. She turned pink real quick, very pink actually.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's how Taya made her entrance.
Yep.
And a huge shout out to her mom, Connie.
Really helpful. I don't know if I could have been
helpful.
So calm if she hadn't been there.
Super helpful.
Yeah.
It was great to have her there. The birthing center was wonderful. The midwife was wonderful. The birthing assistant was wonderful.
Yeah.
We got everything done pretty quick. My parents came up, and my brother and sister came up, and they all met the baby, and her dad came up, and everybody got to meet the baby, and we all went home. And I don't know, 4 or 5 hours. It was like 4 or 5 hours after we got there. We went ahead and left and went home.
Yeah.
And we've been home ever since with little Taya.
She's so precious.
So y'all can expect a nice slideshow of a bunch of pictures right after this video.
Yeah.
We love y'all. I know it took a little bit longer to tell than I thought it might.
Yeah, she's.
It was so crazy. Just I mean, everybody was calm. Everybody did a really good job.
Yeah.
But it was a team effort, and it was awesome. So now we've got this crazy story.
Yeah.
And we can tell her when she grows up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
came into this
Every
world.
time we pass by the exit, we're gonna be like, "You
That's
were
where you
born right there."
That's where you were born. So thank you guys for watching this. I hope you enjoyed the story. Hope you enjoyed the pictures right after, and y'all have a great day. We'll continue to upload. I have more footage for vlog from like the week before. I'm probably just gonna trash it because it was fine at the time, but I don't know what else exists right now besides this little bundle of joy. So
She's so perfect. So
anyway, that's it.
that's it.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Just made it home. Little pouty face is ready to go to bed, I think.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah. I'm tired too. We're gonna take her inside now.